Hail, hail, and welcome to another episode of A Celtic World North America. This is actually our 25th episode. We've been doing it since the summer. We're part of the YouTube channel of Celtic World. It has other podcasts on there with Gav and the boys do kind of the flagship program Mondays and Thursday mornings, and then we got Anthony and Paul kind of doing a more tactical approach. They have the show, The Tactical Review, on Monday mornings as well. So, but what we try to do is bring things, the Celtic perspective from a North American perspective. And we have lots to talk about this week. Lots of anger to get out of the system, for me, I know. Lots of beers to drink. I got plenty in the set aside. But, I mean, just fucking crazy week. Seems like a year ago, I was telling Declan beforehand, it all started 6 days ago. We played Roma, got beat down at home. And then St. Mirren at Hampden, losing the League Cup final there, 3-1. Figured we'd definitely get a win today at Tannadice, at least I did. And it started off well, but ended up more of the same. So on Friday, I was calling people crazy for wanting to ditch a manager after 2 games. But now I'm thinking maybe I was wrong. And then also Peter Lawwell leaving today. So like I said, shit ton to talk about. So let's get into it. So first things first, introduce our panel tonight. We got Chris joining me as always. Chris, how we doing?
Hell, I'm okay.
Did you watch live today?
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, same here. I watched in the office, actually. Rare trip to the office for me. And it just for to watch.
It was split screen CSC and wasn't great.
No, definitely not. And then our guest tonight, first time for both these guys. 2 guys I know well from the Plough and the Stars, 2 Plough Boys. First, we got Declan. Declan, how you doing? Welcome.
Very well, guys. Thank you for having me on. Not very merry at the moment, but
no.
we'll get through it together.
Yep, that's the plan. And then David. David, how are we doing tonight?
I am doing okay considering. So we've got the up of Mr. Lawwell leaving, and then we get brought back down to reality. So that's where we are.
Yeah. I mean, rough day. I don't know, and like I said, so much happened this week. I figure just do a quick little recap of I don't even want to talk about Roma. That's like I said, it seems so far away, like it's kind of out of my mind. And like going into that, I was kind of all back in on Europe, whereas before we beat Feyenoord, I'm done with Europe. I don't even care anymore. So they sucked me in and then, killed me again. So like, I mean, it was a pretty poor performance. And I know all 4 of us on the show last week, 3 of us predicted Celtic wins. And then I think Connor had a draw. So I guess Connor wins the competition if there was one for selections. But for me, the main focus was the weekend and winning the League Cup. And I mean, going into that, you have to feel like, I guess in the normal world, you're a heavy favorite to beat St. Mirren at Hampden. Declan, first of all, what did you get to watch at the Plough, or did you watch at home?
So David and I were actually in Atlantic City for my wife's 30th on Saturday night, and we ended up just watching it in Tropicana, of all places. It was an experience. It'll be the last time I ever do it again.
little bit different crowd than the Plough and the Stars.
Sure. Slightly. Still a couple of drunk Scottish guys there, but yeah, a nightmare.
Yeah. So I guess, I mean, are you like me, thinking going into that with a positive mindset, thinking we'd lift the cup that day?
Yeah, I mean, it was still a little bit tentative, obviously, in the back of the first 2 games under Nancy, that we would be under a little bit of pressure. And we talked on group chats all week about this needing to be a must-win game for him, especially after the first couple of results. And I was quietly confident that we would win the game. I know St Mirren haven't been in a great run of form either. But then, again, when you look back, even under Rodgers and under Martin this season, both games we squeaked by St Mirren. Both of them were at the last kick of the ball. So it's not like we've let the header like under or against St Mirren this season. But I mean, a disastrous start, right? I mean, we just can't defend set pieces. Like a minute in, we're down 1-0 already. And it's just like the same old story again. But I thought we bounced back fairly well, and it's been Celtic this season, I think, right? Like we have patches in games where we kind of click. And I would say that's been under even Martin O'Neill as well. That we did fairly well. We got the equaliser. Then I thought we kind of ended that half very strongly. Again, like tonight, like on the front foot. Okay, it's 1-1, but I'm like, second half, we'll come back out. We'll get reorganised and we'll get going again. But the second half was just an absolute shit show. Like, we were all over the place. Like, I don't know what goes on at halftime in our dressing room. There's been some rumours going on about what maybe happened, but whatever's been going on, like, the players just drop off a fucking cliff. And they got the goal, and then I think David and I, as soon as they scored, I was like, we're done. I couldn't see us getting back into it. And then St Mirren get the third one as well. And it's like, could have played all day and we wouldn't have got another goal. The game was done. I think the game was done as soon as it went 2-1. And then it's demoralising, isn't it? It's just like,
Yeah.
feel bad for him as well. I'm sure we'll get into like how we feel on the manager, but I felt really bad for him that it feels like players have definitely gave up on him after 9-10 days as the manager. We're at a bit of a predicament for sure.
Yeah. David, how was your feelings going into the match, I guess, on Sunday?
I mean, I wasn't quietly confident, but I think we definitely had a good enough team out to do more. I think, as Declan said, that by the end of the first half, we were definitely on the front foot. We were controlling the ball. But what I think happens in the second half of these games, and even the game tonight, which I'm sure we'll get to, is the opposition team decides to actually come at us, and they actually shut down McGregor, and they shut down our two holding midfielders, who are the ones that are getting the ball, and they're the ones that are meant to start spraying the passes about. And St Mirren just basically, they bullied us. They had a bigger team than us, which they always do, which is their main tactic. But they just got at us, and I don't know. It's like the players they do look like they're missing a little bit of fight. I think confidence is very low as well. I think the all the pressure from the fans and all the talk that's always the undergoing current is very negative around Celtic right now. And even the fact, I mean, even Nancy coming in, like who wants to come into a job it's such a negative position? You know what I mean? Like the guy's constantly fighting up against it. And should he have changed the formation so quickly? I don't know, but he has to. Very much like Ange. When Ange came in, Ange is like, this is how we're going to play. If you don't like it, then move on. If this is how we're going to play. But yeah, I don't know. It's just, as Declan said, I'm not convinced that the players are on board, and I think that's a problem.
Oh, it's a
problem.
Fucking huge problem.
Yeah.
I've said that too. I mean, second half on Sunday was just gutless. There was
Brutal.
nothing to the performance at all. And we've seen like the kind of where we have possession of the ball, we're not doing anything with it. No chances created, and when we do create chances, we don't have not clinical enough. Like it's and then, but I think Sunday was different. Like you said, and I think like we'll talk about the game today. Second half, we got bullied both times, St. Mirren and today particularly. I think we really they came out as
I think
hard.
Sunday when Iheanacho went off, there really was a massive change, because he was actually a target that we could hit, and he was hitting the runs, and like Johnny Kenny tries his heart out, like he really does, but for me, he doesn't have the quality to run that forward line at all, and it's a massive problem. The same problem that Brendan had and Martin O'Neill. I mean, Brendan more so than anyone. There was no one to finish off. There was no one to finish any of these chances.
Yeah.
And we're still there, unfortunately.
Yep. Chris, what was your thoughts on Sunday going into it? And I guess
I mean,
how it went to start.
There's, as David said, we had enough players that I feel like we should have gotten a result, right? You had too many people in that team that had won trophies before at Celtic, right? So they knew going in what it takes to win those matches, right? Yeah, I mean, I was confident that we could maybe kind of find some form again and get it going, especially after Roma drubbed us out on Thursday night. And, you know, there's so much stuff that I don't think Nancy realized. It's the players are square pegs and round holes for his system, right?
Exactly.
Like some of those things just aren't going to work because physically they aren't his type of players, and they're all out of position. I mean, Liam Scales was like almost on the touchline trying to cross the ball over.
Yeah.
He's a center back. What the hell is he doing up there? You know, and I mean, yeah, when Ange came in, there was we're going to set a tone. We're going to play this way. You're either going to do it and shut up, or you're not going to play, right? That like he was just that. It's my way or the highway, right? But he had the off season, to gear up for this.
He had some training time.
Yeah, like there was plenty of time. There's zero training time with Nancy and his system. And I don't see how you're going to have that many fundamental changes when you come in to a brand new job, and then you're going to be handed the reins to this club, and you're just going to tactically change everything. I get it. Like I want to buy into the system. I want to have him be successful at Celtic, but from the second half on Sunday, it's just not there. Like it's not going to be there. Like you're not going to get those players to start automatically playing his system the way that he wants them to play. And the second half on Sunday is a perfect example of that. Everything kind of fell apart. I thought the first half, I thought we did well. I thought they were making good passes. They were being attack minded. They were doing the things that I thought should have, started producing some goals. But by the second half, man, that thing just fell the fuck apart. Like it just fell apart. Like I don't know how you can look back at that and not go, we have to structurally change this back. We have to start salvaging whatever we can for this season, because Sunday, man, I really think Sunday was the turning point.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would say me and Declan were talking about, we were the first two on here, and you were talking about like you're involved in coaching. And so we're talking about like when Nancy comes in and makes a switch right away to, how he wants to roll things out formation wise, tactically, like, and I think you're right. And you like in that, like you want to get your system installed right away. Like, so, I mean, do you agree, like you kind of agreed with him making changes to a point, like, I guess, like.
Yeah, like as again, I obviously don't coach anywhere near that level, but I think every coach has like an ego about them as well, and every coach will have a system and principles that they believe in. Nancy clearly believes in the 3-4-3 formation, and again, I understand and probably backed him a lot more than maybe some others would have been like, yeah, just like go with it right away. But like, even if I use like myself as an example, like I have a team, and I started off the season 4-2-3-1 because I was like, this is the system that I like to play. I think more lines to pass through, and they're a girls' team, so they just like to pass the ball and zip it around a lot rather than maybe drive forward with the ball. But even like with myself, halfway through the season, it was like we're really struggling in both in and out of possession elements of the game. And I actually ended up changing it to a 3-4-3 halfway through the season. And it just gave us like a fresh breath of life. And we managed to be a little bit more stable actually in defense. But then attacking wise, we were creating way more chances. So even as like a coach at like an academy level, like I stuck with something that I really enjoyed playing and thought this was the right system for this team. It wasn't working. Then you need to adapt and adjust. So with Nancy, it's the same thing. It's like, go with it, man. Like, I'm okay with that. Like, go with it the first week, play your formation, see how it goes. But if you see like things that are working and or we could all see that with Ange as well, right? Like, we still lost to Hearts and we lost to Rangers, but we also had those games where we won 6-0 against Ross County and Dundee. So the players have that buy-in of like, this can work. We just need more time at it. Whereas right now, Nancy's just in a tough spot and it's not working. And then again, he needs to have that flexibility now of being like, look, I want to play this formation and these principles. Now, you can still apply the principles, but maybe change the shape slightly. I think to save his job, he has to go back to 3-4-3 or a back four. Because if he keeps going like this, I think he's just digging himself into a bigger hole. And you're already seeing some ace turning on with like, it's like Russell Martin. It's the exact same thing that happened with Rangers. It was like, I'm sticking to this no matter what. I'm not changing it. It's my way. I'd be kind of like Ange, but Martin didn't have the personality. I don't think all the players that bought into that. And Nancy clearly doesn't have it with these players either. And I hope we can talk about the players in a minute because I think they've thrown this guy under the bus completely. But it's who are you going to get rid of? 22, 25 players? Are you going to get rid of or fire the manager? Do you know what I mean? Like it's so player driven. Like football's so player driven now, and I think you saw the same thing at Man United. Like how many good managers have they went through, and it just didn't work because there was like a rot within the club, within the playing staff. And I'm starting to get the feeling that that's kind of coming into us as well now, where we have a lot of players who, a lot of them aren't good enough to play for Celtic. And if we were doing this podcast 10, 20 years ago, we would not believe some of these guys that are playing and starting for Celtic. And two, I think a lot of these guys have overstayed their welcome. And I'm starting to see similarities with the 10 season with guys that had a lot of quality and served us very well, but have went past their sell-by date. And I'm starting to see a lot of similarities with that as well.
100%. I'm just going to throw up a couple comments just in regards to kind of this formation stuff. And with the players available right now, we can't play the back three. And that's, to a point, like we had really one center back playing today and then two, fullbacks with Ralston and Tierney, who have played center back, at times, but like, and then, and Chris, you mentioned this earlier, and Grant said that Liam Scales playing winger reminds me of Scott Brown playing left back. We've seen that before, even like McGregor, I think, played like left back a couple times and stuff. So, yeah, and the same with me, Declan. I was like, I think when it was pretty sure he was coming in, and we knew we had these 3 big games coming up. The first, now it's been 4, but he would kind of gradually try to put in some of those tactics, formations, and stuff like that. But he just dove right in, which, and we talked about it before the show again, Declan. Like, these are professional football players. Like you do feel like they should be able to handle moving around and playing in a slightly different formation. But our guys
Yeah,
just did not. And
like a change
I think we're
was
losing you a little bit,
obviously
Declan.
under. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're a little grainy. Let me just pull around.
That's just my cat.
Okay. But let me move on. I'll just let me throw up a couple of other comments real quick. And again, Graham, no clue on where the players are best suited, regardless of the formation and tactics. And that's true. Like I know and I'll post it later. Like when we start talking about the Dundee United game today. When the lineup came out today, I was sitting there I was sitting at work with a piece of paper, like writing down formation where I thought all those guys were, since he put it in a number order on the lineup card that the Celtic released. So it's just like that. Like you don't know. I don't know. Those guys just, and today it didn't. In the first half, obviously they looked a lot better, but then the second half. I think what you said, David, like once we started getting pressed, we had no idea what to do.
Yeah, I think that's not. It's also the game on Sunday and the game today as well. When the opposition team kind of gets wind of how we're playing, they change what they're going to do, and then we don't really have like a plan B to try and like work around that. As soon as the opposition team they start man marking McGregor, and they man mark whoever is the one that's meant to be sitting there with him. It was Bernardo today, and Bernardo just like completely disappeared as soon in the second half as soon as he did that. And yeah, and it's like what back three is he playing? Like, does he want to play three centre backs? Because he has three centre backs there that he could play. He could play the young lad Murray. He could play Trusty. He could play Scales, but he doesn't. He keeps bringing in fullbacks to be these two forward of the back three, and that's not their role. These guys are used to playing out wide. You know what I mean? Like like I know they should be able to play anywhere, but like it has to be a whole different psyche change to them, because they're used to bombing on and charging down the wing, but in this role, they're not supposed to do that. And then you've got your wingers, like we're kind of the formation we're playing. You've got Tannadice, even Forrest, etc. We're not really playing with a wide winger, which is what Rodgers, which is what Ange all had. And we've got a team full of wide wingers. We've got Forrest, we've got Yang, we've got Tannadice. Like we've got these guys who are supposed to play and hug the touchline, but under Nancy, they're not. That's not their role. They've to kind of attack. They've also to defend. And then you saw him playing Maeda. He's playing Maeda in the last two games. He's playing him on the left-hand side behind the front forward. So again, Maeda's not playing out wide, because whoever is playing on the left of mid is expected to be the one that's meant to bomb on. So I think it was mentioned, I think Chris, you said the square pegs and the round holes, and it's throughout the whole team. Like it's not just a few players getting played out of position. It's like everybody is getting asked to play a different role than what they did before. I'd say McGregor's probably the only one who's kind of getting asked to do the same role. But I mean, you keep hearing all these things like, is his heart in it? Is the reason he's not doing any interviews because he's not all in? He's the club captain. He needs to be the one that comes out. He needs to be the one to try and G everybody up. But at the cup final, actually, he was the one actually who was coming over. He was taking instructions from Nancy. He came over like 3 or 4 times in the second half, and actually tried to take instruction, tried to take it on, tried to put it on the field, but just I think everyone was grasping at straws the second half. They changed the formation so many times. changed the lineup, and just they completely lost their way. And I think we all knew as soon as that second goal went in, we weren't going to make it. We weren't going to get a comeback from that. It wasn't going to happen. So
yeah, and that was another one that's been a common theme of our almost all of our 25 episodes. I feel like that. I felt like Schmeichel needed to do way better on that second goal, like coming off his line to this is Sunday to beat
I do, but there wasn't really anything else that he could have done there for me, because that ball was played in and somebody should have been marking that guy. And for me, all Schmeichel could do is basically charge at him. Like, he was completely left wide open there. And that ball, one, should have been stopped before it came in. And then there was no defender anywhere near the guy. So, like, I know Schmeichel's been getting a hard time recently. I don't know. I think he makes saves when he has to. He made some very good saves today. I feel as though just the indecision in front of him kind of causes a lot of the problems that he's getting the blame for. That's just my opinion. So
that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then the third goal you could just see coming. Like once was it Declan John got the breakout, and you just knew it. Like once Trusty came over to try to cut Declan John off, then I'm like,
when he eventually came over,
yeah,
he should have done it. He either should have stayed or he should have gone.
Yep. Yeah,
he was like, again, indecision.
Can't have it both ways.
Yeah.
And then you knew. Then it was like game over.
Yeah.
And I stayed to the end. Watch.
What do you think you do? Like 2v, you just leave your man. It's insane defending.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the fans start walking out of Hampden early, and you just knew it was all over. I shut it off right at the whistle, so I didn't even watch. And I have no real problem with St. Mirren. Like of any team, they're kind of. I mean, they play us tough all the time, but we lost Declan. So, but I have no problem with them. I'd rather them than the Huns beating us in a cup final. So,
yeah.
Congratulations to them. They, earned it. They
deserved it.
Outplayed us.
They 100% deserved it. So hats off to them. They deserved that win. They outfought us. Second half, they outplayed us, and they totally deserved it. So, well done to them. You're right. Well done.
Yeah. So Declan's back. Can you hear me, Declan?
Oh, yes. Hopefully that fixed it there.
So I guess then.
Were you guys congratulating St. Mirren? Sorry.
We were. That's where we're at now.
As a man from
we're graceful losers. That's what we are.
As a man from Good, I will never congratulate St. Mirren. But I'm glad you guys can be the bigger man about it. So well done.
Oh, I just said they're like kind of a harmless team, harmless club. They've given us a hard time a few times over the year, but nothing.
Paisley is pretty close to Govan, though, so there is a large amount of bigots who support St. Mirren. So yeah.
Didn't they have a Celtic superstore? Were they the ones who had the Celtic superstore in their outside their stadium?
Yeah, you're right. They do.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
attached to the stadium.
So congratulations.
Right, they're the good guys. Well done, St. Mirren.
They're our buddies.
All right, so then we'll skip over the news from earlier on this morning, and then we'll move on to the match today. And we've kind of talked about it a little bit, but I'm just gonna throw up first things first. And I went into this one again feeling pretty confident, and which is, I guess, my problem. I shouldn't comment the way things have been going lately. I'm just on like, we have now we haven't lost since 1978. It said we hadn't lost 4 matches in a row, which is a crazy stat. But I'll stick up the lineup today, and again, like I said before, it was like kind of for me sitting at work trying to piece together. I'm like, what's this formation? And it's definitely not 4 at the back because there's only 3. And I just couldn't even figure out where everybody was going to go. So much for him, them saying, oh, he's going to, switch back to the 4-3-2-1 or 4-2-3-1 formation and like get back to, all right, let's just win a game and move on from there. Chris, what was your thoughts when you saw the lineup today?
I mean, yeah, that was my same thought is where's everybody playing? Number one. Number two, out of that lineup, Bernardo getting a start. Okay, cool. There's an awful lot of people that have been saying that Bernardo needed to get a start. So cool.
Yeah, for years.
And it's good to see him get a start. But I mean, like we said earlier, I think once they picked up where he was being marked, they changed their complete tactic and it shut us down. So in that respect, maybe Bernardo wasn't the right person, but I think one of the reasons that Nancy gave was that Ingles had been playing a lot and had a lot of time and was kind of tired, or they were trying to sub him out or whatever. So I don't know. I mean, anybody's guess was as good as mine as far as what that lineup was supposed to do and what it was supposed to look like today.
Yeah, same. Declan, what did you think when you saw the lineup?
I mean, I like some changes. I think that we need to make a
You're going in and out on us a little bit again.
Oh.
Can you hear us? Well, all right. I'm going to push that question to David.
Let me come back. I'm going to go.
Yeah, sorry. You just can't. You're pausing and stuff. David, what do you think when you saw the lineup? Did you watch live or did you watch?
No, I never watched live. I watched it when I finished work. I always go on radio silence when the game's on. So put it on when I came back. I mean, again, the lineups, like, as you said, where is everybody playing? And then you see them set up. You've got Maeda not quite playing wide left, but kinda he was. Then you've got Tierney and Ralston, who are fullbacks, playing as the 2 defenders, the 2 right and left centre backs. That's not their position. But I thought, to be honest, the first half, we created a lot of chances, but that came back to the same issue that Rodgers had. We created some chances, nobody takes them. Another day, we would have been 3 or 4 up in that first half, and Dundee United would have been demoralised and would never have came back. Mm-hmm. Even the cup final, we had some good chances in the first half. If we had a decent forward, would have slammed in a cup, would have went go in 2-1 up. Yeah, it's just you just, as everyone keeps saying, you look at the lineup and no one knows what we're going to get. It's like Pandora's box, you know what I mean? Like, what are we going to get? Like, nobody has a clue what formation we're going to get. I know he's all about possession-based football. I get it. It's all about making that extra man. I know everyone's been saying about like Scales going down on the wing and stuff when he was playing centre back. Nancy actually wants that, because when you're only up against one forward, when teams are not attacking us, you've got 2 extra centre backs there. And like Pep, Guardiola at Man City, he tries to play something similar when he's going forward. He wants to defend with a 4, but he wants to attack with 3 at the back. And like sometimes when you're watching his games, like you see the centre backs end up like the centre backs score quite a few goals. Like Guardiola and stuff, they score in open play goals and open play games because they are encouraged to push forward. But unfortunately, Liam Scales is not good enough to attack like that. He is a defender. He should only be asked to defend.
Mm-hmm.
And sure, get the ball, spray the ball, pass it. But asking him to be the extra man and be some sort of playmaker, I think that's unfair on him because he's not that type of player at all. And he actually went from being one of our best players, I think, under Rodgers and O'Neill, when we didn't have that many good performers, but I actually thought Scales was very good. And now he's basically, in the last 3 or 4 games, he's literally looked, he couldn't even make a 5-yard pass today. And the cup final as well. He was literally trying to pass the ball 5 yards and he was messing it up. And I think it comes down to confidence. And then obviously you hear people, the players are not robots. They hear the crowd getting on them. Next time they get the ball, they're like, oh shit, I better take the easy pass as opposed to the difficult one. And unfortunately, we're now stuck in this kind of Groundhog Day where we're all mad about it. The fans are shouting from the side. The players need some sort of confidence build, and they're not going to get it from us because everyone's raging about what's going on. And I don't think they're getting it from the manager because I don't think they're on board yet. So,
No, 100%.
Yeah,
You're right. And I mean, Chris, you talked about that a lot with. Was that the big thing that Martin O'Neill brought? Was just giving the players a little bit of confidence to
I mean,
do stuff.
That's everything right now, right? Like you can physically see it in their expressions that they're just not there. They're not like mentally in this fight, and like even today, like Maeda's goal, right? I thought it was a good Dyson Maeda goal. I mean,
really good Dyson goal.
Like
as a Dyson we know.
Yeah, it is in the dictionary a Dyson Maeda goal. This is what it looks like. Like it was boom, and you're sitting there, and I was thinking, I'm like, man, I really think that can really just be a spark that we all needed because whatever and when we conceded and United made it 1-1, you could just see all of the players kind of drop.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that is because of the any tension in the dressing room or the fact that the players are just they're frustrated, they're upset, they don't understand the system. I don't know what it is, but you can see it, and I think because you can see it, you can kind of go, well, then Nancy's not the right fit. He can't be the right fit because there's no way that you're going to get players that are currently used to playing a certain way in a span of 4 matches to completely understand his system and run it to perfection and us look like, the world beaters that we all know that we are. Right.
Right.
And I know that a lot of people have talked about, we either need to get on board and go down this route. And while I understand that the manager is in charge, he's the one that's making the decisions on the field. I don't think you're going to get that out of these players under Wilfred Nancy. I just don't think you're going to get it. The confidence that you could see in the players after Rodgers left and Martin O'Neill came in, there were smiles on faces, right? We were playing with a lot of confidence in the Martin O'Neill games, And that just evaporated. And there's no way that you can look at that and go, something has truly left the field, which is that we understand what we're doing. We're all on the same we're all in this together. And that's not there anymore. And where we go from here, I don't know. But I'm here to tell you, that second Dundee United goal today, after that happened, I'm like we're done today. We're done. Like there's no coming back today from that.
Yeah, and that's what I'm sticking. This is Nicky from Hoops Abroad, and he's gonna be our guest next week. And that's true. Just shows you how good Mon is that he got these guys winning away in Europe, and then winning pretty much was it all our league games that he had. During his
Sean, can I just say on top of that, I don't actually think that it was all down to Martin O'Neill. I actually think Sean Maloney was the one that was doing the actual coaching.
Yeah.
And Martin O'Neill was the face and the voice. And yes, he was he had the stature, and I think he came in and he obviously his thing was being a man manager. He was a very good man manager. And if you ever listen to any old interviews of players, like there's Leicester players who used to be Martin O'Neill's players, and I've seen some videos of them talking, and they say Martin O'Neill never really used to coach hardly at all. He just used to talk to them like people. He would tell them what they were good at, and he would manage them, and he would again build their confidence up. But I think that actual coaching and getting Celtic to play a certain way was actually down to Maloney. And I think that's actually one of the things that Nancy has actually made a mistake on. He should have brought a figure in who actually knows Celtic. I know he kept Strachan, but Strachan's more just the kind of sports, kind of the science side of it and all of that. So I feel as though he probably should have kept Maloney on as a kind of a go-between between the players and the new people, because I feel as though there is a gap there. And the thing as well with Nancy, so since he's came in, he has had a game. The players get a day of rest. They get 2 training sessions, if that. They maybe only get 1 training session, and then the rest of it has been discussing tactics. I don't know exactly what goes on, and then the next day they play the game. So actually, the commentator on Celtic TV made a very good point that Nancy has actually had more games than he has training sessions with the team. And but that's the team lacks instruction, especially in the second half, as to what they're supposed to do when there is a change made. And I do think it's down to the fact he hasn't even had a full, he hasn't had Monday to Friday to actually work on the training field. And Declan, you have to be able to, you have to train your team to play your style. You can't just say, all right, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. If they don't actually see it and understand it, then they're not going to be able to follow it through. And I haven't looked at the fixtures. I have a funny feeling we don't have a free midweek, probably until January sometime, middle of January maybe. But we need a week. We need a couple of weeks, just of some intensive actual coaching, and so that Nancy can actually show if he is a good coach. Because he's not a manager, he's an actual coach, and he wants to coach the players. He wants to give them a different mindset. He wants to give them a different way to look at certain things. And I know everyone was raging about his Twitter post that he did. But that's where that came from, was purely him trying to say, look, this is my outlook on life. This is what I'm trying to promote. And then everyone's calling him a Facebook mom and all that shit.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it's I'm like, yeah, that's kind of how I try to live my life too. So I have
Yeah,
no problem
exactly.
with, but I get it. Declan, how's the? Are we back?
They're sound now.
No, you're still a little
Great.
spotty.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of nowhere in a farm.
That'll do it. So is Chris.
Yeah, I am.
But you know, like to your point, David, like how good would it have been to have a winter break this year to?
Oh, would have been if it wasn't for the World Cup. Ironically enough.
But yeah, I mean, that would have been massive to
Yeah.
get things turned around. But
Well, look at the other years under Brendan
hopefully.
Rodgers. Like we literally went away. We went to Portugal. We went to Dubai. And when Celtic come back from these training camps, like we were on fire. Like we win every single game for the whole rest of the season. And that's when we pushed on and won the league. We're not going to get that this year. We're not going to get that training opportunity this year. So
Yeah.
that's why Wilfred's going to have to bring in, what, 6 players who know the system. How many players does he bring in? How many players does the board let him bring in a winter window, which is always a not a great window. So
Yeah. I don't know if you can see Ian's comment on there, David. Another few weeks, the league may well be out of reach by then, which is true. But I know we were talking beforehand how, I mean, I think you're of the mindset that they're not going to get rid of them.
no, no way.
So,
The Celtic board have proved that they will die on their sword, and they will. Like honestly, I genuinely think even if they lost the league this year, I think they would stick with Nancy and they would let him have a summer, bring in his own players, and have a full summer of preseason, and go with that. I honestly do. Like that's what they do. The Celtic board, they do what the fuck they want. They don't particularly care what we all think. They do what they want, and we're just gonna have to go along with it. So, you know what I mean?
I do think you're right to a point. It's shocking because I don't know, and we can kind of move into that probably part of our next topic is today with Peter Lawwell leaving. But like, I feel like you're right. I do think the board is stubborn to a major fault that they and I mean part of it I think like in how they even hired Nancy and I think I remember talking to you at the Plough the one day about it, like the time it takes to get that move finalized, which then put him in that spot where you're throwing him into the fire, like with those three massive games in a week. We we did like 3 or 4 episodes like where Nancy's coming, let's get somebody on we were thinking it was going to be one, and then we'll do another one, and then we'll do another one. It just it took so long to get him in the door and on the sideline, and then in term getting his system underway. So yeah.
But even the system though, right? See, if you look at the system and you look at all the most successful teams in Europe, and majority of them play what Brendan Rodgers and Ange played. They play 4-3-3. You look at like the English teams, that's what they play. Real Madrid, Barcelona, they all play the same system. They play high press 4-3-3. It's actually a massive gamble going with Nancy and going with this role, because you look at Amorim at Man United, he tried to come in. He was like, again, very similar to Nancy. I'm going to play my style. We're going to do 3 at the back. That's what we're going to do. And he got berated last season, but they stuck with him. This season they're better, but they're still not like up there with the other teams in England. And like that's, I mean, the formation is a massive gamble. It should work. See, if you look at, I don't know if you've ever watched or followed Nancy's team over here. And like nearly every single game that his team played in, they had like 60, 65% possession. And it was all about controlling the ball. Doesn't even matter if you're not being penetrative with that ball at times. But when you get that chance, you go for it and you take it and you score. Like in Scotland, that should work. Because in Scotland, we typically have the ball all the time. So if you, I think that's why Celtic board went for him, because they're like, all right, so you're a possession-based manager. We are a possession-based team because we're the best team in Scotland. We've got the best players and we're playing against shit teams. So that system should work if you have enough time to implement it, if you have the right players to implement it, and if the players are on board. So,
yeah, agreed.
you know.
So Chris, I'll throw to you, and this is another one of our kind of our whipping boys over the 6 months we've been doing this. And it's Johnny Kenny against St. Mirren was invisible. Like I felt like, did you even notice him out there? But then today, just missing the tap in basically on the, I think it was Maeda who put in the cross, and then one he had a breakaway and a good 5-6 yards ahead of the guy behind him, and I don't know what the fuck he was doing. Just took too many touches, and I think he just had 7 different mindsets of how he was going to try and score a goal and never even got to attempt it. So, and then I guess Dyson missing that header just basically was in the goal mouth and somehow missed in the second half. The chances we did not take today, how frustrating was that for you?
Oh, I mean, it's extremely frustrating, right? I think so many chances today. I mean, it should have been 4 or 5 goals in the first half. And then I can, off the top of my head, I think there was another 4 or 5 in the second half. And with that amount of chances, we should have won 5-1, right? I would think after their second goal, after United's second goal today, which they shouldn't have gotten because he was offside, and had Casper not saved it, it would have. He would have been called offside. So I mean, they got that cheap corner, in my opinion. But I think the frustrating thing is that the chances haven't been there all season under Brendan Rodgers, under Martin O'Neill, and under Wilfred Nancy. That final third has just really been our Achilles heel most of this season, and I think it's indicative of not bringing in a replacement for Kyogo. Like, you want to go back that far, that's where that started, was you didn't replace Kyogo. There wasn't a good replacement for Ida. Exactly. Pookie could have scored a hat trick. I just there's so many ifs and buts to this season so far that it's almost impossible to take a real good stock of things could have been wildly different today had any of those chances gone in. We've been talking about, like, hey, Wilfred Nancy first win, everything's on the up and up now, right? But we're not. And I think acknowledging that we're not, and that things aren't okay, I think as supporters, that's what we're supposed to do, right? We're supposed to be critical of players not playing the system. We're supposed to be critical of the managers making wildly, incoherent structural changes within days of becoming into the position or whatever. But I think the thing that we really need to start looking at is, are we going to give Wilfred Nancy a transfer window in January to bring in his own players and continually to structurally make these changes, what happens when we're fifth in the league, right? I mean, is he going to make it through the offseason at, coming in fifth in the SPFL? I don't think so. I don't think the supporters will take it. I really think that the pressure right now is whether or not Nancy continues going into January, because I think that if you reset and go back to Martin O'Neill and get him back on speed dial and say, hey, come back, lead us, there's an outside possibility that we win the league again, Scottish Cup. We're double winners, right? I don't think that happens under Wilfred Nancy. So the big gamble then is if the board is going to give him that transfer window in January to start bringing in his players, then we've got all kinds of structural issues. And how much is our wage bill going to be? Which players are we shifting on? Like, you can't just immediately, drop a hat and make all of these players understand the system that he wants to run. What are you going to do with all the players that are here? And like I think it's grown. I think today, the loss today, is really the catalyst for whatever's going to change in the next little bit. I truly do, because I don't think the players are on board. I don't think the players want to play for him. I don't think that he wants to change the way he sets up his formations. And, he's either got to prove it, or it's time that we need to cut our losses and try to salvage what we can out of this season.
No, I agree. And like I said, I was of the mindset with people. Some people were talking about ditching him after the losing to Hearts the first game, which that's madness.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
And then losing to Roma, it just kept amping up with every loss. But 4 in a row has me a little, concerned. So definitely about keeping them on. Because I said, I want. You see it in flashes, like today, the first half, and there were stretches in the first half on Sunday against St. Mirren where it looks really good, but then there's longer stretches where it looks terrible, and we're always at that risk of getting caught out in the back. I feel like getting hit hard on counterattacks, and I just think we don't have the players and we talked about that, to play that back three. Like, if Carter Vickers was in there, would that change things? I don't know.
I think
Alistair Johnson.
But so when Celtic bought Johnson, so he was at Nancy's team. I'm not sure, because I haven't looked into it. Was he playing as the right centre back when Celtic signed him, or was he playing as the right midfield attacking midfielder? I never looked into it.
I don't. Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
How does that, guys?
I know for Canada he was playing. I believe for Canada he was playing right back in the World Cup.
Yeah,
and that was kind of off the back of what we signed him from. But yeah, I'm not sure what role in that back three or the attacking, because he's a brilliant wing back. Like, Johnson is just so set. He's built for it. He's physical. He's fast. He's intelligent. He's a smart guy. You can tell by the way he talks and the way he carries himself. He's actually a leader. I think we miss him a lot when he's not fit.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
Declan, let's see. How's your audio now?
I would think I can't get any closer to the router.
You sound much better.
Yeah, like to David, to your point, I thought Johnson did play in a back three for Canada. No, I thought that's what we saw first, was that he was in a back three. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe as a wing back. But I think we're missing him, and we're missing like Saraki. Do you know that he'd be perfect as the left wing back? I think as well. So there's definitely
100%.
injuries to be taken into consideration. CCV's definitely. I mean, definitely. I don't know about CCV. Again, he's the kind of one of the players that I talked about at the start that I think is maybe run his course with Celtic a little bit. But I mean, would I want him in the team right now? Of course I would. But I don't see where, because you don't see him playing outside centre back, do you? And then even the middle player, he really needs to be comfortable on the ball, and that's never been Carter Vickers's. I don't think it's ever been his forte. Right? He's more of I'm a defender, so I struggle to see where he's going to fit into the back three at the minute. But I say the same thing with Trusty, Scales, Ralston, like everybody that's played there, even KT. It's had moments, but I'm really struggling to see where all of these guys or all our defenders fit into that system. So does the board going by like 3 centre backs that fit his system, or is he going to have to try and convert someone to play that role? Because I've listened to some podcasts where they've said at Columbus he converted a centre mid into one of those centre backs, that someone's really comfortable on the ball and can progress the ball from the back into midfield. So some people are thinking, would that be like Bernardo? Could that be an Engels? But it just doesn't seem like he's going to do that. He fancies that idea. Otherwise, he would have done it by now, right? We've just stuck with the same kind of guys at the back, and again, it's not working. But I mean, like you're saying, like we talked about at the start, like round goals, it's like, I don't know what else you can potentially do with this squad, especially defenders. This formation, in my opinion, is just highlighting how weak our defence is. Whereas Martin hid that well by asking them just to play really basic fundamentals, just defend, move the ball on, don't need to worry about building out or passing the ball or stepping forward into midfield. But this has definitely highlighted how we don't have the players for that, and it's definitely showing, right?
No, yeah, 100% agree.
Can I just say that the irony is with Martin O'Neill that when he was successful with Celtic, he played a back three. Like back in the day,
Right.
he used to play a back three, and I cannot believe that him and Wilfred never spoke about this and stuff. So, anyway.
I mean, do you believe that they only had like a 15-minute meeting before?
I mean, they both said that.
Yeah,
I find that insane, but
yeah, same. I feel like that's malpractice. Like,
yeah, like any job,
on
like
both their parts.
most jobs you have like at least a week, maybe a month like overlap, but like, you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
a job's a job, you know what I mean? So
yeah, it's malpractice on both their parts for Nancy not to want to pick up on Martin's knowledge, and
yeah,
for Martin, if he's, and you do feel like he's a diehard Celtic guy and wants the club to have success, so to be able to impart as much as knowledge on the players and stuff as he could, like, it's
but that's part of the thing though with Martin O'Neill, like David was saying about Sean Maloney. I think Sean Maloney was your coach. He was the one telling you to do this, X, Y, and Z. And Martin O'Neill was the personable, man manager that was like, hey, are you doing okay? And I think in doing that, you have confidence within the squad. Then that.
I was just reading the comment.
But yeah, no, like you build confidence with a manager that has that kind of, I'm managing you as a player, a professional player that, I want you to go out and perform. And I feel like Wilfred Nancy had some of the criticism that he's gotten is that he's just not as personable, as it comes across, that he's just, he makes his comments and then he, goes about his day. But like the first time he walked into the training facility and didn't know who James Forrest was, right? Like that's the most decorated Celtic player that ever put on the hoops. Like you had 6 weeks to know these players. Like I feel like there's just a personality difference or something that just it's not right. And I don't know, man. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough from here on out.
The Glasgow Goldfish Bowl is not for everybody. And
Agreed.
that goes for both sides of Glasgow. And some people can handle it. Some people can't. I mean, I don't think people understand how intense Scottish football is until you're actually in it. Like, I've friends with a lot of English people, and they think Scottish football is not the same level as the Premier League. And fair enough, it isn't. But for intensity and for a way of life, there's not that many cities in the whole world where that's going to be beaten. You know what I mean? Like, it literally is. When you're there, for us, like, it's a massive part of our life. But when you're actually in Scotland, like, if your team loses at the weekend and you have to go into work on the Monday, your Monday is going to be fucking horrendous because you've got fucking supporters of the opposition team who are just going to be absolutely destroying you for the whole week, basically. And yeah, it's a goldfish bowl. Like everything, like you've got nowhere to turn. Like Nancy's going to find out that literally, if he goes outside his apartment or his house, wherever he lives, he's going to get recognized. He's going to get the opposition people shouting at him. Ironically enough, right now, he's going to get Celtic fans who are shouting stuff. The game today, which I didn't like, and they've got every right to do that because they paid their money, was Celtic fans singing Nancy, Nancy, get to fuck. And I don't agree with that at all. And I actually felt for the guy at the final whistle, because Dundee United, you have to walk to the corner and that's where the tunnel is, and there's Celtic fans up above you, and you could see there was Celtic fans were giving him a hard time, and that's tough, and I don't condone that at all, because for me I don't think Nancy's been given the tools. I think the timing was wrong. I think the board didn't give him the tools to be able to deal with this. And I don't think the players have had the tools from Nancy to be able to deal with this due to the lack of training as well. So,
no, I agree. And I
David, you're right.
Go ahead, Declan.
People have wanted him to. People make their mind out about somebody really early, not just to like Celtic, but everywhere, and people will live and die by that act, right? Like, so there's with Nancy, like there's definitely been a split on, do I want him to be the manager or do I not? And the people that don't want him to be the manager, like there's people in our support that will just die on the hill with that, right? Like, I'm not saying that they're like enjoying like this part of it, but they really want to be proven right. And like from the first appointment, that's not what we need at this point in time, right? I mean, look at the state of the club. Look at the state where we are, like with the board, with everything. Like, we needed someone that was going to give us a bit of stability and someone that everybody would get behind. And we live here, and appointing someone from this was just going to be so divisive, and appointing someone that had so little managerial experience was going to be so divisive. And when you're trying to replace Martin O'Neill, it's almost an impossible task as well, right? Yeah. He came in, he did steady the ship. He won, like you said earlier in the show, he won every game domestically. We took a tough one against Midtjylland, but you get an away win for 4 years. Like, it's hard to argue It's hard to come in. Anybody come in was going to have a tough time with that. And I think a lot of fans had their heart set on Martin O'Neill coming back and taking it to at least the end of the season. But, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I don't know, like, even under Martin, like, he was getting the results, which was great, but did you really enjoy watching a lot of the games, or were you just satisfied that we were getting a result? And I understand this is a results. Celtic, you need to win. You need to win games of football. It's just the way it is. But how many of those games are you going to rewatch when you've had a couple of beers later on? Like,
Yeah.
how many of those games you're going to watch back? Like, even the Rangers game, it wasn't exactly like, we didn't set the header alight. Like, I'll go back and I'll watch games under Martin the first time, the 6-2 game, even under Neil Lennon, like beating them 3-0, what have you. Rodgers had tons of them. Ange had a bunch of games that there's so much rewatchability because we were playing unbelievably good, attractive football and put teams to the sword. But this time it was, which I think he was brought in for. Like, he was brought in like Martin, like, steady the ship, just win games. And he did that. Like, this is nothing against Martin O'Neill and what he'd done. And again, the board have completely fucked this up because you hear Martin talking on TalkSport and it's like, I didn't know if I was going to be here for 2 weeks or 2 months. So how are you supposed, as a manager, how are you supposed to, and even Maloney, how are you supposed to come in and like, even like balancing the squad as well, right? Like, I'm going to rest so-and-so on the Thursday because I've got a big game on the Sunday. Like, who's going to be there on the Sunday? So it's just like he's going game by game, they're going game by game, day by day. And the fact that we, or the board and or Dermot Desmond, like, they didn't have a clue as to when we were appointing this next manager. And I mean, I'm sure we've all heard AI Nicholson talk as well. And he said that it was like Nancy was the first choice. Like, then why did it take 6 weeks to do it? Do you know what I mean? Like, like we've talked again from the start of the show, he needed at least an international break to come in and like, here's a week where I can just drill this into the players. But appointing him in this week of all weeks, again, everything that is wrong with our club right now leads back to the board. Like, why was he appointed this week? Like, playing Hearts at home, top of the league, playing the 1 seed Roma in Europe and then a cup final. It's not fair on Nancy, and there's criticisms for Nancy as well, but there, or Wilfred should have been in earlier.
No, I 100% agree. And like Martin O'Neill staying on with the air of negativity going around the club. I mean, who's to say he wouldn't have lost these? I don't think he would have lost all 4 games, but like, if he loses a couple of them,
but he's like a
is
character though, right? Like, people will buy, like, people like,
he's probably untouchable.
Is he insulated from that?
We could have lost those 4 games and there wouldn't have been Martin because it's Martin O'Neill, right? Like, he could never have got tarnished by this season because like we would have just, and rightly so, they just went to the board like it should now. It should still be going back to this board. It shouldn't be going towards the manager or even the players, even though, because David, you've mentioned like they're not robots, you know what I mean? Like, they're reading Twitter or X, whatever it's called. They're reading that, they're seeing all of this, and it's going like, they're human. They're going to have human emotions to it. It's not like a video game where you can just do X and Y and you're good. They've all got those emotions. They'll be feeling that as well. It's everything that's wrong with our club leads back to the guys that are in charge. And this is all, whatever happens this season, it's all on them.
But you know what though is actually going against Nancy is the fact that he was the board's appointment, and everyone and a lot of people are like, we don't trust the board, we don't trust their appointments, we don't trust their decisions, and now that, as you said, like, people are like, see, I told you so. The board can't make a good choice. They can't make a good decision. And he kind of came into this as, I mean, he was kind of fucked when he came in, unless he won the cup, unless he beat Hearts, he was kind of fucked going into this. Because so many people are just, he's the board's choice. He's a board man. He came out in an interview yesterday, I think, and said, "Oh, I've had all the support from the board." And this, as soon as you say that, you're kind of fucked right now. You know what I mean? Like, but he has to, like, they brought him in. Like, he is their guy. They trust him with the playing side of it and the managing side of it and the coaching side of it. I presume they're going to support him in January. I'd like to think he gets to bring in 5 or 6 players to try and turn this all around. But then that's where that confidence comes in for the current players. Like, that's where Brendan, I think, messed up. He was kept on saying in the media, we need new players. The player, I never got the players I wanted in the window. Like, that's a confidence kick to the players who are there. Martin O'Neill comes in. This is the players I've got. I love them. I like them. I work with them, build their confidence back up. Comes back to Nancy, changes his system. Then he's like, yeah, and he's saying all the right things because he hasn't put the players down once. He has never once said these players are not good enough. Right. He's tried to take it all on himself. He's saying, I'm not going to listen to the criticism, which a lot of people think he's being arrogant about. No, he's trying to take it all on himself. For me, and I think he's trying to not blame the players. But I think the players can do more, personally, for me.
Agreed. Love this coming. Cheers. I still got some work to do, so I'm going to keep going.
Dehydrated. It's fucking Wednesdays.
So before we move on to, I guess, kind of our last couple topics, let's just move on from that game because it was a fucking disaster. But we actually have no clips. Chris, we have no subscribe clips in our little repertoire. So
hey, if you like it, subscribe to us. There you go.
Give us a subscribe and a like so you can, find us next week when we're on. So, here's another one, Grant. I don't think the beer really helps you stay.
It doesn't. It doesn't. It just.
It helps in other ways. But.
Yeah, it makes everything fluid. So,
so I guess the big story of the day before the match, and let me throw up let me find my little picture. Find it.
I saw that.
No.
Whoever did that,
that's fucking classic. I can't believe they fell for it, but so I guess the first step in that today, and that was a shock. Peter Lawwell announcing that he was leaving the club end of the year. So, Chris, what did you think when I know I texted you. I don't know if you'd seen it before I texted you.
No, I didn't. I didn't see anything on it until you texted me. But I mean, my only question, and to go back to something David was saying earlier, the abuse against Wilfred Nancy, that's not on at all. I don't like that at all. So, but in saying that, I know that there has been a targeted opinion of Peter Lawwell in the minds of Celtic supporters for years and years and years and years and years that he is this, whatever. He gets blamed for everything that's wrong with the club, and to his credit, he was a chairman for a number of years that we were very successful as a club, and I think you have to acknowledge that. Now, having said that, now that he's stepped down, great. I want an injection of some fresh ideas. I want a board that is going to be driven to succeed in Europe. Like this is Celtic Football Club, right? This is not some unknown team in the far realm, right? Like this is a big deal, and for Peter Lawwell to step down today, great. it's time that we start injecting some fresh blood into the board, some real ambition.
Throwing up Graham's comment there.
I hope his heated driveway stays heated.
Yeah. I mean, for me, like, I don't know what it's going to do. Like, I don't feel like he's the big problem. I think he's a kind of just the big problem is Dermot Desmond, and I don't think that's a problem we'll ever get rid of. So I'm not, and I don't, the statement that, he was receiving threats and other board members were receiving threats, and I don't know the validity to that. And like, if that's the case, then that's wrong, obviously. And I heard some people saying like they're putting banners at some of the board members' kids' schools. Whether that's, I mean, some of that's probably maybe conjecture and bullshit. But I guess, David, what was your thoughts when you saw the news this morning on that?
I'm not surprised. I feel as though the fact that they announced it now, it probably was to do with some sort of incident which brought Lawwell to make that decision regarding his family or whatever. I feel as though if Celtic were smart, they would have probably known there was no way out for Lawwell. They should have announced it before the AGM. That would have took some of the heat off of it. I don't think you're going to get Nicholson or Desmond or anyone to go. Like, these people are not going to go. It's like they don't have to. We have no say in that. People can shout sack the board all they want. It's not going to make any difference. The only way you're going to get rid of these people is if you can convince the other shareholders to get on board with you. And because Desmond owns over 30%, you need him on board. And there, even if Desmond leaves, there's no other investor. Like, nobody has another investor. We don't want some Saudi crown prince coming in and pumping money into our club, because they will absolutely destroy our club, and they'll make it they'll remove it from what it's supposed to be, a club for the people and a club for us. And I know Desmond's not perfect, but he is a Celtic fan, but he's also a businessman, and that's the thing. And the people who are in charge, they do run the club as a business. And we, as a business, Celtic is an amazing business. And I'm actually surprised there aren't more investors lining up to try and get involved. Because we're one of the only clubs in the world that actually makes money. Like, see all these English clubs? They're not making any money. We hemorrhage money. And like, as I said, like Man United and stuff, they're like held by the Glazers' money. Like they've reinvested everything in that club, and like if the Glazers left Man U, they would effectively go bankrupt, because and we are in a very lucky position that we do have our own money. Do I think that the board and Desmond, etc., completely messed up? Multiple transfer windows, 100% yes. We are a big club. We have money. We should be going in to buy a player and offer $1 million or two more than what it actually should take, and get that deal done, get the player in early, because the club as a whole will benefit from that. When you get a player in and they get a whole pre-season, like the whole Brendan Rodgers thing was just ridiculous, that in the summer, where he was like, I want a forward, I want a centre forward, I want a centre forward. They come to the last day, I want a centre forward, we're not going to sell our centre forward. They sell the centre forward, and we still never got a centre forward. It was absolutely fucking insane. And that is mismanagement, and that should be held accountable. And like, that's the stem of all the sack the board stuff. But sack the board itself doesn't actually work. It's not even a real thing, because how can the board sack themselves? It doesn't work like that. And even the AGM, which never got anywhere, because if you're going to go into a business setting like that and an AGM setting, you have to act the way that the rules kind of say. And as soon as people started shouting and singing "sack the board," like, they were always going to shut that down. And what we needed as fans was one voice to just go in there, one person to speak, ask the questions that we needed, and try and get other shareholders on board. And it just got messy, and we got nowhere with it. And we got Lawwell out now, which is great. Who do we get brought in? Like, people are going, "Oh, Martin O'Neill's going to be the new chairman." No, it's going to be a businessman who's going to become the chairman, because business people run football clubs. You can't run a club with your heart as much as we want to. You have to run the club like a business, but you have to run it well, for me. So,
No, I 100% agree. Declan, how about you? What was your thoughts when you saw that today?
It's a start, right? Like the collective said, one down, many to go. But listen, like Lawwell, like, the problem with this board is us fans. Like, I think they just treat us with absolute disdain. Like, they hate us. I don't think the Celtic board appreciate us. We are just customers to them. Like David had mentioned, like businessmen. That's all we are to them. We're just a transaction. We're just a customer. Don't give a fuck about what, like David said, what we think about them, like what we're chanting at the games. They don't care about that. All they care about is getting that revenue and that money for them. So that's part of my disdain for, like, Peter Lawwell and the other guys that are on the board. It's just about, we've made that, and the fact is that we've made them millionaires as well. Like us, like the guys back home and everyone that back home that has a season ticket, us that's jerseys that come out a season, all of the other stuff, like the merch, all that stuff. We've made them millionaires, and they can't even treat us with any sort of respect. And I don't know if you guys watched Michael Nicholson's thing today, where he talked about Lawwell, but he also said, we respect the fans and we appreciate everyone's opinion. It's just all bullshit. That's the problem. It's like, the closest we got to actual progression in our club was it Don Mackay under Ange, who actually wanted to make some change, and he was hounded out after like 3 months or something. And he had to say one disclaimer, so he can't release what they talked about. So I believe that was someone that actually wanted to come in and wanted to make real change at Celtic from the top to bottom. And it doesn't fit in with the Old Boys Act that our board have. And he was outed as quickly as possible. And we'll never know why that happened. It's just, like you even said, Chris, like, has Lawwell a lot of success with Celtic? Like, yes, like domestically. In Europe, we've been appalling. Like, yeah, we've had a couple of good, like, we beat Barcelona, I'll never forget it. We've had some good results, but we should be miles where we should be as a modern club. When Rangers went bust, we had 10 years to figure out a modern, progressive way that a football club should be run, like Brighton.
We're losing you again a little bit, Declan.
I'm sorry.
Just
Come back to me.
You're good. It's all good.
I'm done.
Declan, as you said about Brighton there, the worrying thing is, as you said about Brighton, is the Brighton chairman is now balls deep in Hearts, and he's the one that's bankrolling Hearts' rise right now, and he's actually showing Hearts how to be a well-run team, and that's why Hearts are investing well. They're bringing in good players, and I do think that's why. I actually think. Does anyone else think that Scottish football over the last couple of seasons has actually really improved in the quality, or does everybody think that we've just got that bad? Because I actually think Scottish football has got a little bit better than what it used to be.
It's both, I think. Yeah.
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead,
think
Chris.
no, I think you're exactly right. I think teams are better.
Mm-hmm.
I think just general football practices.
Yeah.
The tactics. I think you've got a level of decent managers in the Scottish game
Mm-hmm.
where that people are allowed to play a certain way and develop a certain way, and yeah, I think there is a lot more parity to that. But uh, you know, having said all of that, as you know, four in a row would illustrate that we should be miles above that already, right?
Agreed.
And the fact that we aren't is 100% on the board.
Yeah.
It's 100% on the board. Like,
Mm-hmm.
People have been saying it for years and years and years that we needed to modernize the club itself. We needed to have a director of football operations. We needed to have, the training ground at Lennoxtown's great, but we needed, the indoor facility. We needed all of this kind of stuff to really develop everything. And while we've made great strides, I don't think that push that we've all been clamoring for, the drive to bring in, like you were saying earlier about like spending $1 million or two more for a player to bring him in to play at Celtic, just so that we can like build everything up again, right? Yeah. And I think those things need to happen, but the fact that they haven't happened or anything close to it, that's not the fault of the people that are running the club, right?
Yeah.
So if Peter Lawwell gets blamed for a lot of things, and I'm not saying that he's 100% at blame for everything, but he's a big chunk of it, right?
Yeah.
And that attitude of, well, you're just customers. I mean, look at the four of us right now, right? What are we doing? We're drinking beer, talking about Celtic on a Wednesday, and all four of us are in the U.S.
Yeah.
Like that's passion and whatever on a different level than you would get with somebody who casually supports some English club that goes to watch once a week at some NBC affiliate pub that shows matches.
Yeah.
Like, no, this is serious for us. This, like, everybody's got has an invested interest in what it means to be a Celtic supporter, right? And we can't quantify that any other way other than we give and give and give and give and give to this club, but the club doesn't give a shit about us. Never has. They see you as a customer, and when we get our chain pulled, right? We get our chain pulled with Rogers' exit, and then we bring in Martin O'Neill, and then we get this unknown guy, and like all these things are done because we did not plan and invest and set the tempo years ago when everybody said we fucking do it.
Yeah.
We fucking go for it now. We put the boot on their necks, right? And we just go for it. But that's not what's happened. And as much as I want to be upset and whatever that the players aren't putting it in the back of the net like Kenny should have done today or Dazim should have, like all that comes down to is that there's a lot of things that are not in our control as supporters.
Yeah.
And being unified just as supporters, that's going to have to be good enough for a stretch of time, because that's all we really have to go on is to lean on each other and say, man, whatever's going to happen, it's not going to be in my control. It's not going to be in your control. It is completely out of our control what happens right now to Wilfred Nancy, to the board, to what happens to this football club going forward. And I think for me, it's very disheartening because I'm I'm a person that's super passionate about stuff, and 99.9% of all Celtic fans that I meet, they have the same level of passion for this club. and that doesn't get weighed in Peter Lawwell's pocket, right?
Yeah.
None of that matters to them. So, what as a collective, pun on words, a unified Celtic support collective, what are we supposed to do?
Yeah.
That's what we have to figure out, because otherwise nothing else is going to change, because it's out of our control. There's nothing we can do about it.
Remember, Peter Lawwell bleeds green and white, though. So you need to remember that, Chris.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
So I've heard.
Yeah. Well.
All right, quick pause.
It's called septicemia.
All right, quick pause for what you're drinking tonight. I have Treehouse from Massachusetts, which is a fucking phenomenal brewery.
Agreed.
Graham's asking, so what's everybody drinking tonight?
Creature Comforts, Athens, Georgia. Go Dogs.
Oh, David, hello.
Hey.
Peroni. Nice.
Hello, Peroni, my old friend.
So let's stick one comment up and because I think we get this, and to a point I think it's true. Where is this comment? I gotta find it. Shit, I'm getting so many comments I can't find the ones I wanted to put up.
Uh-oh.
Here it is.
Most of them are just saying you're a bunch of fannies.
So can we really ask more from the board? 14 trophies out of 15. There's other teams as well. No wonder our fans get called entitled. And I've said and to a point, I think we are entitled. But it's from the success we've had. But I think we have expectations that that our board is going to advance us in Europe, which we have not done. We have not had success in, and we have not just waiting till that last second, or waiting till if you're in qualifiers, wait till you make it out of the qualifiers to invest in the squad. Like that kind of thing.
That's the problem.
It sets us back so much.
That's what makes people mad.
Yeah. So I don't like to, I mean, if we're entitled because of that, like, yeah, I feel like we have earned that from the board to make those investments in the club to get us to that next level. Like we have the ability to do that. Are we going to win the Champions League? No, as constituted. Can we make a little bit of a run and get to the knockout stage like we did last year? And I mean, almost knock out Bayern Munich at their stadium, and like that's the kind of thing I think that the club needs and the club can build on. So I don't know. I'll go to Declan. What do you think about that comment from Paul?
Yeah, like does not replicate like or show all of the domestic success we have. Like we're Celtic and we're a two-horse. So every year we're going to be there or thereabouts. But like you said, it's the incompetence and it's the lack of planning for Europe. When we have to every time we have a qualifier, how many times do we successfully get to the Champions League? How many teams have knocked us out with
like the worst record of anyone?
Lesser budgets, like teams that we should be swatting aside to get into the Champions League, and we continue to fail and fail again. So I think was better Celtic, and we should be navigating these qualifiers be successful in Europe than what we have been. And it's just insane to think about from February, like you said, Sean. Like I think we were all really proud of Celtic for, even though we lost and it's heartbreaking, so proud of them for the way we competed with a top team like Bayern Munich. To 6 months later, we can't score a goal against Kairat Almaty. It's just it's that drop, and that's when the chance and all this started happening. It's not we're not going to win the league. That would have happened then in season, right? It's this consistent, and we're consistently tired of how we prep for these qualifiers. And the embarrassing thing in our perspective is the last 3 seasons that we've qualified for the Champions League automatically, it's been down to how successful Rangers have been in Europe. It's not what we've done. Our automatic qualification is because our biggest rivals can do well in European football. That's how we got there. And then when qualify, we absolutely fuck it up against. I mean, Kairat must be the worst team in the Champions League this season as well. I mean, like that's what we're frustrated with. It's not losing the hearts. That's not really what it's about. It's about the European aspirations, and like you mentioned before, like waiting until we try to sign top players and then that falls through, or like David mentioned, selling Ida, and I wasn't Ida's biggest fan, but selling Kyogo, selling Ida, and then not replacing them with no adequate replacement in there. It's just that incompetence. And the fact that they keep coming out and stating that everything's in working order, it's worked for the last 20 years. It just shows how out of touch they are with like what we want Celtic to be and how progressive Celtic to be. And that's where, at least I don't want to speak on behalf of everybody, but that's my biggest frustration with Celtic, is how we're just doing the same thing over and over again and expecting these great results. And it's been proven over and over again through the qualifications that we are not set up, or we don't set ourselves up to accomplish that. And do we sign good players? Absolutely. We have got some diamonds in the rough, and we have recruited fairly well in certain seasons, but the disaster of this transfer window it's not a solo one. Numerous ones we can look back to in 20 years and see where everything's kind of went wrong. So I think that's at least my biggest frustration with our board and like what they classify as, what is it they said, world-class basics or world-class in everything we do. It's just all company jargon.
Yeah, agreed. Chris, I'll put that to you, then we're going to wrap it up after that because we've gone for almost an hour and 45 minutes already. Well past our longest show. So
yeah, I mean, I understand that thought, which is 14 out of 15 titles have gone to Celtic, and we should be entitled, right? And I would counter that by saying that we should set the standard, right? We've been champions of the SPFL for 4 years, and then we had the 1 year that we weren't, and then before that we were 9 in a row champions, right? We set the standard. That's the way we look at it, right? Is that there's not a team that's above us in Scotland. And having that, does that mean that we're entitled? Yeah. I mean, it does, but that's what it takes to set that standard. I know the difficulties of the 90s, and you go years and years and years without winning anything. It sucks. It's terrible. And you know, you can't get the players in, you can't get the manager, You got flashes of this, that, the other. And yeah, we've been spoiled. We've been spoiled since, 2010, whenever we went on that run with, the second year of Neil Lennon. But having said all that entitlement really set us up for standards that we were never going to get past. And it's just now that we're seeing that we need to structurally get past that. We need to be that much more progressive thinking of, getting players in, not having Wilfred Nancy that we say that we're going to hire him, and we've got Martin O'Neill in the interim, but yet he sits for 6 weeks until he comes into the program. That's incompetence. That's incompetence at the board. If that means we're entitled, name me another football club in the world that has the reach that Celtic does. That's just how I see it. Is that it's not really entitlement as much as it is we set the standard and then we fail our own standards.
No, it's
we,
true.
pro- we probably lost. For me, I don't think we'll get another world well-respected manager as Brendan Rodgers as our manager again. And Celtic really went out and they brought him in. No one thought he would come back. He came back in. He was probably made a lot of promises that, look, build the team, we'll support you. And last summer, I genuinely believe, like Rodgers was talking, like before the summer last year, I want to, I want better players in, because that's the thing. Like Celtic have this great model. If you bring a player in, they like we sell like one player like every year for like 20-25 million. So if you're bringing players in for 4 or 5 million and you're selling them for 15 or 20, it makes sense. If you you can then invest further, speculate to accumulate, as one of the messages said. You buy a player for 10 million, you can then sell them for 20 million guaranteed because you're already buying quality. Someone you buy for 10 million is not going to be shit. And the fact that you're playing in Scotland, you're playing every week, you're winning every game every week, your confidence is up. You're like, especially wide players. Wide players thrive at Celtic because the confidence is up and they're encouraged to attack. And they completely fucked up. And like, I genuinely think Rodgers was the best manager we've had in a long time, both times. I know, like, he made some bad choices. Again, he shouldn't come out in the media and spoke down the team. He shouldn't have done that. That's where he messed up. He lost the dressing room as well, in my opinion. But if we'd invested in the summer there and actually got in some quality forwards, wide players, I think this season we would have been in the Champions League. We would have been qualified again for the knockout stages. And that would have been the next advance, where you then qualify for those knockout stages every single year. And I think Rodgers would have stayed as well. I think he would have signed another 2 or 3 year deal. And I don't see us. I think he was a proper world-class manager who would walk into another job at like the top of the English Premier League. He probably will after he's whatever he's going to go do in Saudi. But
Suntan.
yeah, exactly. But he could walk
make
in
a lot
like,
of money.
yeah, but he could walk into a top half of the Premiership in England team. And I don't see us getting another manager that can probably do that, or who has done that. We may bring managers in who will then go on to then do that from the success that Celtic bring. Because Celtic's a brilliant springboard for any manager, which is probably why Nancy took on the job, because he knows, do your time, do 3 years, win the league 3 years in a row, progress in Europe, and you're going to get a job in a reasonably top level team somewhere in Europe.
Yeah. Hasn't gone well for him to start, though.
No.
So I guess, and we're kind of the way we've been wrapping up the last few shows, and we're probably building up until February when we have the, and I'm sure Declan and David will be there, and I know Chris is planning on coming, but the Philly in Philly, February 5th through the 8th, always a great time. And so like anybody who has the opportunity to come do it, come over. Wherever you're coming from, like it's always an amazing time, and it's like
we've got a spare room. Someone can come and stay with us.
Same here. I'm an hour outside the city, but I have a little bar in my basement, and if anybody wants to come the night before and have some drinks, I'm always up for that. I'll even hire a musician. But so I know you guys will be there. So
yes.
So I know the last couple of times we've been trying to convince our guests to come, but it's always an amazing time. I met Chris there. David, I met you down, and I meant to put. I had the one picture I wanted to put from you. What I think that first time I met you down in at the Anglesey for Bogside Rogues.
Yep,
it was like my most artsy like bar picture I ever took. And I'll have to put it on my social media, but
an artsy bar picture.
Oh, dude, it was like perfect.
It was a good picture. It was like 2 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah. So, and Bogside Rogues will be at the Plough on Saturday night of the Philly, so it's always a good time. So, beyond that, I think we'll wrap it up because we've gone an hour and 50, which is pretty impressive. So, thank you guys for coming on tonight.
Thank you for having us. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you for having us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it was good to get to vent a little bit, and I think we didn't get crazy negative as much as we could have, but
I could have been.
I mean, I know how I literally left work at 5 or 4:55 as the final whistle sounded. I had it timed perfectly, and like I was just. I can't imagine what my face looked like. I was probably red-faced and just angry. I had a half-hour drive home to cool down before I sat down with my family for dinner. But it was just
Get the reps on.
Yeah, and I was looking forward tonight to be able to talk about it with you guys. So I appreciate it. And so we'll wrap it up there. Next week we're gonna go switch to Tuesday night because Wednesday night is Christmas Eve, and I know my wife's not going to let me do a podcast on Christmas Eve, so
Right.
So we'll do it Tuesday, and we're going to have our first. We're the Celtic World North America. We've had 25 episodes with all American-based Celtic fans. We finally have a Canadian coming to join us, an Irish guy from Canadian, but he has his own YouTube channel where he does kind of just little clips, and I think he looks very entertaining, and I can't wait to get him on. His name's Nicky. He's in London, Ontario, and his YouTube channel is Hoops Abroad, and he was in the comments a little bit tonight, and I tried to put him out there. So tune in next week at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 a.m. Celtic Park time, and we'll get you and Declan and David on again because you guys are awesome, and I'll see you down the Plough one of these weeks.
Yes, sir.
I know. Declan's off work, so we got to get together for some.
I've got a month off work, man. Yeah, let's do it. I'm all in.
I'm down for that. All right, so hail, and we'll see you guys next week. Cheers.
See you guys. Take it easy.